Hello, I'm Enesmin and this is Joy News Prime. Coming up in the next 2 hours, chiefs and people of Aflau express anger at President Akufo-Addo's response to their paramount chief's outburst on the abandoned E-block structure there.
That carry this message to the Minister of Education that come February, I want this school to be open.
Minister, what can you give, Mr. President? The way you spoke to the chief is unacceptable.
Meanwhile, the Education Ministry has rejected claims the project has been abandoned. We'll bring you details of a statement release. Also here on Joy News Prime, police investigate circumstances leading to the death of a 3-year-old boy whose body was found in a private vehicle inside the premises of the St. Peter's Cathedral Basilica at Roman Hill in Kumasi.
We found blood oozing from his nose, and also his mouth was foaming. So I raised his hands and realized he was dead.
I wrote down by topping the nation, and I wrote in Pabuansu.
Government partners private sector to rid the country of filth and ensure waste generated is properly recycled.
Government has taken the requisite steps to create the enabling environment and framework for the private sector to partner government in finding solutions to this Herculean challenge.
And in business, Google agrees to integrate Ghana in its mapping system as government's digital address system takes shape.
End of this year, Google has agreed for us to integrate our digital address system into Google Maps so that people can use them here in Ghana.
We have details of these stories and more here on Joy News Prime, coming to you live from our Fanofa studios at Kukumlemle, Accra. You're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay with us. Again, thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. Now, pupils of Makas English and Arabic Primary School in the Wungu, Mamprisi West Municipality fear their school building could collapse on them anytime. The school building is weak and dilapidated. Thus, teaching and learning is conducted under trees. Both teachers and pupils are calling on authorities to pull down the structure and provide a safe one. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko has more.
This is a classroom block for pupils of Marcas English and Arabic Primary School in Wungu, near Waliwali in the West Mamprisi municipality of the Northeast region. The structure was put up by the community members who established the school before it was absorbed by the government and changed into a public primary school in 2006. Until the government provided this inadequate 3-unit classroom block, this was the only facility for academic activities in the school. After one of the rooms collapsed, the school authorities moved the kindergarten pupils out here under these trees in the school premises, while those in upper primary occupy this block. But the facility, which has dangerously deteriorated, is still being occupied by class 2 and 3 pupils. Both teachers and the people say the dilapidated state of the facility is affecting academic activities as they study in constant fear.
This
class 2 girl, Mohammed Aisha, says they are always afraid anytime it threatens to rain, that they are afraid the winds will collapse the building on them. Her teacher agreed and expressed her own fears.
So all these things doesn't make learning effective. I myself, when I'm sitting down and it's like a wind is blowing, I can't teach. All my mind is in the building. I can't concentrate and let the students learn. So it's affecting the teachers as well as the students.
The school children could not speak English nor Arabic. Abdul Rahman Jamil, who is in class 3, says he is unable to concentrate in class due to the state of the building.
The building is a death trap. When people are passing, because of its open place, the children, they don't pay attention. They will be turning their neck to see who is passing. So teaching and learning is not good at all in this school.
Due to the situation, KG 1, 2 and Primary 1 pupils now study under trees in the school premises. Some of the people sit on the bare floor to write due to inadequate furniture. Sitting out here is affecting us. We are always distracted by the heat from the sun.
How to control the class is very difficult sitting outside. And then it's not pleasant for you to see your child, bath your child, dress the child very well to come to school, and you are passing by seeing the child sitting on the ground. You won't be happy. So some parents are not happy with this situation. We have spoken to the PTA. There's nothing, no response.
It's affecting their performance because the number of times we need to teach a day, we are not able to get to that number because sometimes we come and teach only once instead of 2 or 3 times. We only teach once and go, because when it's around 12, we can't teach again because the children cannot sit.
In the midst of the situation, however, a 2-unit classroom block completed in 2019 is yet to be commissioned by the Westman Prissy Municipal Assembly. The chairman of the school's PTA is demanding the immediate opening of the facility. Not every teacher would agree to teach in this kind of facility, so we are pleading with the assembly to assist us with more classrooms. We need them to come and open the new school for the children. The headmaster, Mansour Mohammed, also pleaded to authorities to intervene.
I want to appeal to philanthropists, not only government. I think some other philanthropists can also come to us, because this is very, very dangerous. We are raising future leaders of the country. So it is no good that we leave them in this situation. We will not be able to raise them properly, raise them in a very conducive atmosphere. So we appeal to authorities to come to our aid in terms of the provision of the infrastructure, and also appeal that the Get Fund project that is still not open for use now, authorities should see to it that we use it, even if it is not handed over or finished entirely. I think we can use it. That is even safer than what we are currently occupying.
Ilyasu Tanko reporting.
Now, teachers and parents at the Mimpiasem EP Primary School in the KJB district of the Oti region are calling for support to re-roof a 6-unit classroom block gifted the school about 4 years ago. The roof of the building came down during a rainstorm recently. The school is forced to send children back to their dilapidated structure, for which the new one was constructed. Peter Senu visited the school and has been interacting with members of the community.
The roof of the building, we are told, came down last Saturday during a rainstorm. The building was constructed by Pencils of Promise under a counterpart funding about 4 years ago due to the dilapidated nature of the initial structure. The assembly member for the area and some parents have been speaking to Joy News on the need to have the situation resolved as soon as possible.
If the assembly is not able to come in a quickest or a possible time to come and then put the roof back, in fact, our children are going to face a lot of challenges in how to get access to classes.
This disaster, if there children going to school, since even I won't say district assembly and region for support me, so that even if you do not support me, we not get the place that the children they will be sitting and learning.
The district chief executive for KJB district, Wilson Agbanyo, who took office a week ago, visited the scene. According to him, the engineers at the assembly would have to do initial assessment before any action could be taken. They would also liaise with the NGO, Pencils of Promise, to see how best they could have the situation resolved.
I don't think we are going to rest on our oars with this particular situation. It is an emergency issue for me. It touches my heart because it could be my daughter in here or my son. And so we are going to do as fast as we can. I cannot promise 1 day, 2 days, but the assembly is not going to take it just like any normal other work to be done.
On Monday, Joy News visited the school to understand how pupils and teachers were coping with the situation. The school was preparing the old structure, which is not in good shape for pupils to use as they have little or nothing to do about the situation. The headmaster of the school, Emil Kwanzaa, and his teachers are appealing for immediate support so that academic activities are not disrupted unduly.
From this point of view, these children cannot continue to learn under this structure. So what we're trying to actually do is to liaise with the district chief executive and then the stakeholders, so that we can actually get a particular area for which we can allow the children to start an academic learning immediately. So as a matter of urgency, we're calling on the assembly to come to our aid so that academic work can equally continue successfully, or else when we leave it this way, it's going to affect us a lot.
Peter Sanu for Joy News.
And still on education, the chiefs and people of Aflao are unhappy with President Akufo-Addo's response to their paramount chief, Todbi Ajonugaga Amenyafiti. The chief had issued an ultimatum to the Education Ministry to operationalize the abandoned E-Block Community Day Senior High School in the area. The school, which is about 90% complete, has 26 classrooms and 5 departments, including a science block, but the project has stalled since 2016. Todbi Fiti, speaking to Minority Side on the Education Committee of Parliament, demanded the operationalization of the school by the next academic year.
After senior high education, primary to the senior high education, the next degree that my people have to do is to go to border and go and do what? Cairo. No school. The only school that we have again is the RC Senior High School that belongs to the Catholic Mission. It's now what? A minor seminary. So this thick population have no place to go. And people sit down in that big hall called Parliament without thinking of Aflao, a place after the Tema Harbor. The next revenue generation is from Aflao border. It's from Aflao border. And I have to push the former President Mahama for that structure to be what? Constructed over there. I have to be running from here to Accra. Begging. Should we beg for education? No. There's something happening. If we have to beg for education before our what? People can go to school, then I don't know what is called a democracy at all. And look at the structure standing over there. 90% finished. 90%. Yes. Now the teams are having their full days again, going there, removing everything at will. Now, in the era of the MPP now, we have the free senior high education. And my people are not benefiting because the school is not yet. I'm sure by next year, February, school, new entrants will go to school. So your coming here is the redemption to the suffering people of Aflao. It's a redemption, really, to the suffering people of Aflao. I carry this message to them.
So that is Todbi Fiti, the paramount chief of Aflao, in that interaction with members of the Education Committee in Parliament, those on the minority side. Now, in an interview on Peace FM Thursday, the president responded to the concern of the chief. Here's what he said.
Many of them. I think I'll find an opportunity to tell you that many of them are being worked on across the country.
Let me just take one, Mr. President. The one in Aflao where the chief himself has complained. On here, Aflao patches E-Block no oba yenya hoshi. Into my education minister up to February say oba yehu bibi. It's on the
minister ultimatum.
Also abre.
And you go here.
Into obisa no then I'll be out of frustration maybe okasa.
As much as possible. I've given you these examples to let you see that, on the contrary, despite the propaganda.
Now, the people of the area say that response is disrespectful and in bad taste. Ablaji Fagumashi is MP for Ketu South, and she joins us on the phone. Madam, thank you very much for joining us here on Joy News Prime. Do you accept the position by some party communicators that this was said in jest, if you consider his posture and also the tone of that response?
Thank you very much, and good evening. Okay, so there are two sides to this issue. First of all, what my paramount chief said was in the interest of all of us who come from Aflau, that the building is standing there, 90% complete, and even in that state, it is one of the best, if not the best, in the whole constituency. So if schools that are in worse situations have children in it studying, then this 90%, if you finish it, we would be able to enjoy the free SHS, won't we? So that part, I want to reiterate that indeed, if the school is open, our children will start benefiting from the edifice that is sitting there with fees, as you said, fees stealing from it. Now, to the matter that President Nana Akufo-Addo said that was said in jest. Okay, look, let me ask you one question. Would our president say this in jest about any other paramount chief? Paramount chiefs have been asking him for roads, for electricity, for water, and so on. I've never heard him say anything like this in jest. I've never heard him respond to any of them in jest as he did to mine. And so you are demanding an apology? No, it should be in order. It should be in order. You know, if he said it in jest, he just has to come out and say that it was in jest and he didn't mean it. And perhaps going forward, he should not be playing with stuff like that because it hits hard. It hits really hard. But here is that edifice that is 90% complete. And it's the only secondary school in Aflau Urban. We have Aflau in Togo, Aflau Urban, and Aflau Zago. Zago is where St. Paul's is. But in Aflau Urban, with this population, and he did indicate that he worked hard. He and my former MP, he worked hard to have this E-block just here. And I don't think I sat there. I led the people to Saturday. I did not hear him say that the FCC hasn't done anything about the editing. Well, you did hear the president say, Madam Gomashi, you did hear the president say that you're working to complete the projects that are, still ongoing. And indeed, the Education Ministry issued a statement to that effect, which we'll be bringing to viewers shortly. What's the question again? The president had said that they're working to complete all the projects, and in fact, the Education Ministry has released a statement to show the work they have done since they inherited the E-Blocks project from the NDC government. And that is why His Excellency says that Open Monkosie. Is that what it is? Open Monkosie. How much revenue of this country is given to Togo City? And a state building. A state building should go and be completed by a paramount chief because he dared to say that his people need to benefit from the policy that the FCC had put in place. And that throwback was really a slapback. That was a slapback. And I think that is unfortunate. It didn't sound right. It didn't sound right at all. It did not sound right at all. If it's 90% complete, and I have told you that there are schools in this country that are in worse situations than this new building. So let it operationalize. Operationalize it. Operationalize it. And for you as an MP, you talk about other structures within your community that do not even match up to this one. What have you been doing in your personal capacity to help them, in your capacity as an MP? You know, I was sworn in on the 7th of January. I have visited all the 3 public schools in Cathedral, St. Paul's, 3 Town Secondary School, and Clicquot Secondary, Clicquot Secondary School and Thomas Secondary School. Now, in the 10 months that I've been working, I don't know if you know that we have not received anything to work with. But that does not stop me. My focus is creating opportunities for the young people of this community to find a source of income so they can sustain themselves. So I've been focused on skills development. I am not the Minister for Education. I have not been given a budget to do anything about these schools. I've been given my salary and I'm using it to the best of my ability. And that does not include going to build any schools.
You indicated earlier on the pause with Aisha that you have been in touch with the chief, the people. They are not happy with the expression, with that response from the president.
I beg your pardon?
You indicated in an earlier interview on the pause with Aisha Ibrahim that the chief is not happy, the people are not happy. How is the chief, will he speak to this issue? Will the traditional authority issue a statement? How are they taking in this?
Well, I do not think that it is my place to indicate what the chiefs will do.
Okay.
What I will do as a member of parliament, as a cultural leader in this community, as one of the stakeholders in the affairs of Cathedral, as a member of the Aflawu Traditional Council, what I can do is to say that response from my president to the paramount chief of Aflawu, who, by the way, has worked with President Rawlings, President Kofo, President Mills, President Manhama, and then President Nadu, did not receive the response that we expected. And I think that if the president has an opportunity, he needs to apologize or retract what he said. It did not sound right.
Very well.
You have called me because you know that it's not good.
Very well. Thank you very much, madam. That's the Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Ablajifa Gumashi there. And the Education Ministry has rejected claims that the E-Block project has been abandoned. In the statement, the ministry says it is committed to completing all outstanding projects. We'll bring you details of that statement issued by the ministry today and signed by the Public Relations Officer of the ministry. And let me bring you the details here. It says that you recall that in the year 2012, the Aswell government announced its intention to build 200 community day senior high schools in the country to enhance access to education, secondary education. It is instructive to note that contracts were awarded for 124 out of the speculated number of 200. It was expected that 101 out of the 124 will be funded by the government of Ghana in 2 phases. Phase 1 of the project consists of 50 schools and commenced in March 2014. Phase 2 was made up of 51 and commenced in July 2015. The World Bank funded the construction of additional 23 in 23 districts under the Secondary Education Improvement Project, which commenced in July 2015. This brought the total number of E-blocks to 124. Note that out of the 124, only 29 were completed between 2014 and 2016. It continues by saying that from 2017 to date, 31 new schools have been constructed, bringing the total number of completed projects to 60. Now, as of September 2020, so government is saying that since it took over, 31 have been completed and brings the number to 60. It is important to note that the 60 completed schools have been operationalized and currently in use. The remaining 64 projects have been categorized in 3 groups. Now, Category A includes 21 structures at 60% and above completion. Category B consists of 16 structures, which is between 25 to 60% completion. Category C consists of 27 terminated contracts, which include projects that did not start and those that were at substructure levels. The statement also says that it is therefore inaccurate to suggest that the CDSHS project have been abandoned. Government of Ghana, the Ministry of Education, remains committed to completing all the remaining projects, and attached is a summary of the completed school. So there's a table, attached to the statement, description, the number of contracts, the year, the date, and also the total completed project. So when it comes to secondary education improvement project, 23 contracts, that's between 7 between 2014 and 2016, and as of 2017, 16, and then we have 23 completed as of September 2020. Then you have the Government of Ghana Phase 1, 50, 2022, that's 22 between 2014 and 2016, 5 given out, and then 27. That's the total number of completed projects as at September 2022. And when it comes to the Government of Ghana Phase 2, we have 10 completed as of September 2022. So this is the explanation of the Ministry of Education on the e-blocks project. Peter Nochu Kotai is the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament. He joins us on phone. You indicated plans of getting the minister in Parliament to respond to the issue, but the statement shows that some work has been done. Plus, there's the commitment also to finish the project. Should that suffice?
Yeah, thank you, and good evening. Yeah, the Minority on Education embarked on a 2-day tour of e-blocks in the country to identify or see the state of abandonment of this project. This took us to 3 regions: Greater Accra, Volta, and Eastern region. And to our surprise, we discovered that most of the projects that we visited were abandoned. No work has taken place in the last 3 to 4 years, especially 4 of the projects that we visited, and then 2 have been to a stage where in Aflawo 90% had been work done. Then at Ethiopia, the contractor is on site. Now they all complain that the certificates that they prepared since 2019, like in the case of Ethiopia, out of 5 certificates, only 1 had been paid since 2018.
Okay.
And that is making it difficult for him to continue with the work. So he has to be using his own resources. So also was in Aflawo. So what he's saying is that the minister's claim or the ministry's claim that they have not abandoned the project is not entirely true. Most of the contractors are using their own resources to do the work, although they have not been paid for work done so far. So the level of neglect is very high. For 5 years, this work had continued progressively. I am sure all the 124 projects have been completed by now. So abandoning the projects and not attending to them, and even terminating some, which were 30% that work done, is not the best, because it results into waste of public funds. The 30% of work, if the contract was awarded at 9 million, so you can see that about 3 million is going waste. So why are we doing that to the nation?
And so you insist that the minister... You insist that the minister must come to Parliament and provide detailed response to the project all across the country.
Oh, yes. We will call him to come to the floor of the House and explain why it has taken government so long in completing this project. Because they are intended to improve upon the secondary school education in this country. So we will by all means call him to the House when we resume on Tuesday to answer questions on the delay in the completion of the project.
Thank you very much. That's Peter Nochu Kotai, who is the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Mino. Still to come, police investigate circumstances surrounding the death of a 3-year-old boy whose body was found in a private vehicle inside the premises of the St. Peter's Cathedral Basilica at Roman Hill in Kumasi.
We found blood oozing from his nose, and also his mouth was foaming. So I raised his hands and realized he was dead.
I wrote down by topping the nation, and I wrote in Pabuansu.
And government partners private sector to rid the country of filth and ensure waste generated is properly recycled.
Taking the requisite steps to create the enabling environment and framework for the private sector to partner government in finding solutions to this Herculean challenge.
Ghana has entered an agreement with international tech firm Google to have the country's GPS address in its mapping system. The agreement was reached after a technical evaluation by Google to certify Ghana's addressing system. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, disclosed this during a keynote speech to open the ongoing Youth Connect Summit in Accra.
Africa Beyond Aid, positioning the youth for the post-COVID-19 economy and AFCFTA opportunities, is expected to discuss key issues concerning youth employment on the continent. According to the Vice President, government is using technology to solve many global challenges facing the country.
And this is a first. We've engaged Google since last year, and we have now obtained their agreement because they had to go through the technical processes to evaluate our digital address system. So by the end of this year, Google has agreed for us to integrate our digital address system into Google Maps so that people can use them here in Ghana.
Speaking at the same event, Assistant Secretary General and Director, UNDP Regional Bureau for Africa, Ahuna Eziakonwa, stressed on the need for African governments to initiate youth-centered policies to reduce the growing poverty on the continent. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Herbert Krapa, has called on African governments to adhere to the Maputo Declaration to eliminate youth unemployment.
If anything threatens the security of our continent, more than anything else, it is youth unemployment and joblessness. Positioning the youth for the COVID aftermath requires deliberate continental and national policies at the highest level. At the continental level, among other things, governments should adhere to the 2003 Maputo Declaration, which enjoins all of us to allocate a minimum of 10% of budgetary provision to agriculture. That sector has a potential to lift millions of Africa's youth out of poverty.
The 2021 edition of the Youth Connect Africa Summit is the first large continental meeting focused solely on drawing stakeholders together to address the most pressing youth development demands within this post-COVID-19 pandemic period.
Now, mobile lottery firm 787 NLA has rewarded a graphic circulation officer from Ho in the Volta region 323,500 cedis in the just ended draw. There is more in this report.
In Siakweku, the winner from Ho in the Volta region, upon receiving the 323,500 cedis prize, shared the prize will for now be invested. Excited Kweku expressed gratitude to the 787 lottery and urged all to partake in this week's super promising jackpot of 100,000 cedis.
Say I should die 787. So I should try it. So the moment the person told me, I started every Saturday, I die 787. Star 787 hash. Now I send it. So Saturday, just I bought at times 5 cedis, at times 15. So lucky, last Saturday, only 15 cedis I have. So when the message came, I died. Now around 7 that way, they call me that I won jackpot. So I didn't talk. About 10 minutes, just.
How do you feel now?
Oh, I feel happy. Very, very happy. Because I don't think I can get this amount. It's rare. I'll invest the money.
Head of Customer Experience, Richard Akotoban, for the event announced Star 787 Hash Lottery guarantees an extra 2,000 cedis win for 6 lucky players at a purchase of 3 or more tickets before 12 midnight every Thursday.
In addition to this Saturday's 100,000 Ghana cedis jackpot value and the 20,000 Ghana cedis guaranteed prize, you can stand a chance to win 2,000 Ghana cedis this very Thursday. Now, all you have to do is to pick your phone now, dial *787#, and then grab a ticket. A ticket is only 5 Ghana cedis. Now, 3 tickets is 15 Ghana cedis. With 3 tickets or more, you can stand a chance to win 2,000 Ghana cedis this very Thursday. And no, it doesn't end there, not at all. This same ticket you bought on Thursday or Tuesday or within the week equally qualify for this Saturday's 100,000 Ghana cedis jackpot prize or the guaranteed 20,000 Ghana cedis. My good friend, what are you waiting for? Take the moment, let it be your chance, and then pick your phone to win big.
And that'll be it for business, but still to come in the bulletin, government partners private sector to rid the country of filth and ensure waste generated is properly recycled.
Government has taken the requisite steps to create the enabling environment and framework for the private sector to partner government in finding solutions to this Herculean challenge.
Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Hans Mensah, and the President of the Confederation of African Football, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, believes Ghana has what it takes to win the FIFA World Cup. He was speaking during a media encounter at the GFA headquarters on Thursday afternoon. Here is the Joy Sports report.
Despite failing to win a major trophy since 1982, Motsepe was adamant that Ghana has produced some of the best players in world football, singling out players such as Abedi Pele and Michael Essien. Speaking in a press conference with Ghanaian media, the South African said the 4-time African winners have what it takes to win the World Cup.
Ghana can win the World Cup, the World Cup. And there are other countries in Africa that can compete. And we want them also to challenge and win the World Cup. So if you put Ghana and Nigeria and Cameroon and Ivory Coast and Senegal and say compete, you are taking 4 of my... Let me tell you one thing. I'd like to see Germany, I want France, I want Italy, I want England in one group. And I want one of them to go and the others must fail. So the same applies to the women's football. I must say, I am so proud. Somebody was saying to me, look out, the women of Africa may win the World Cup quicker than the men of Africa. Now, I want both of them. I want both the men and the women to win the World Cup.
The Black Stars failed to qualify for the 2018 World Cup but have enjoyed some remarkable moments in the tournament. Ghana came close to qualifying to the semi-finals in the 2010 edition but have since failed to reach similar levels. No African team has gone beyond the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and only Cameroon in 1990, Senegal in 2002 and Ghana in 2010 have gone that far.
Still on the FIFA World Cup, CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe has thrown his support for calls for the FIFA World Cup to be played every 2 years. A proposal for a biennial World Cup has been a topic for discussion in the last few years after some of FIFA's top officials, including Gianni Infantino, concurred to this suggestion, and he feels such an initiative will bring the youth back to football.
Arsene Wenger is advising us on this process of the World Cup every 2 years. And part of that process involves a review of the football calendars and to ensure that the players actually play less football and not more. They play less football. So there's discussions taking place, and Arsene Wenger has made a lot of presentations to us, and there's a study that's being conducted by FIFA, and I can assure you, because we have a duty to come and talk to the presidents of the member associations of CAF. We will, I mean, those questions you're asking, absolutely legitimate, and we'll come back, because we've got to report, we've got to account, and we've got to show you why the World Cup every 2 years is highly beneficial for the players, for football in the world, and of course, as I said, for us in Africa, it's highly beneficial to us as well.
Okay, 2 more questions.
And that'll be all for this installment. We take a break here on Joy News Prime.
Hello, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. So it's a rainy evening, and we're excited about it because we need the rains, basically. But we've got news.
Shatta Wale is in the news.
Yeah, he's in the news, and
1 week.
Yeah, he's been remanded. I mean, fortunately for him, the fans are still showing him love. On social media, he's been trending and all that. So we're hoping that it gets better. Kwame Eugene is also talking about underground artists and the reason for them to learn their mistakes while you are an underground artist, because when you get to a certain level, you won't be able to, learn those mistakes because you're more like perfectionist. Okay. And then medical, the latest coming through, medical has also been arrested for brandishing, gun on social media. So all of that coming up. But let's take it from the Shatta Wale thing. He was in court this morning, and we're hoping that things will turn in a different way. But unfortunately, he has been remanded again to spend 7 days behind bars. And when it was going out, he spoke about the reason why he's doing this, and he believes that he's doing this for a cause, a good cause. Let's check out the visuals from the court today at the Accra Circuit Court.
Shatta Wale has been charged with publication of false news, and he pleaded not guilty. The three others had pleaded not guilty, and they were charged with abatement of crime. He's been remanded for another week, and also the next court sitting will be on the 28th of October. So I tried to speak to the lawyer. He refused to speak. He cannot speak until he speaks to his client, Shatta Wale. So he didn't want to give us any information. He said unless we'll find the next information on the 28th of October, which is the next sitting. In regards to the fans were very excited to see Shatta Wale, and they were chanting "Free Shatta Wale." Even if you go to Twitter right now, hashtag "Free Shatta Wale" is trending at #1. His fans, his supporters, observers, family, and friends are calling for his release.
They should free Wale, because what the pastor did was in the right way. If you see a prophecy about someone, kindly go to the person or find ways and means to tell the person that this and this is what I've seen in you, but not to come on air to announce it. Also, Wale is also, he's scared, he's panicking, because you can't just say that, because Sunday was his birthday, that was on the 17th and 18th. Just look at what is happening. To me, it's not good.
So that's what happened in court today. Yeah. He's still in the trends, but not at #1.
Because Medical has taken over the #1 position on Twitter right now.
And I understand Medical was in court to support him.
Yeah, he was there earlier, and then later on he was also picked up by the police at East Legon police station, that he brandished a gun, and there's a picture of him with a gun in a car. And I think that maybe the police were still looking now for a way that they can, properly put documents together to arrest him. So as of this morning, he was, very, cool with Shatta Wale.
Was a free man?
Yeah, it was a free man with Shatta, and unfortunately this is happening. So let's see. He's also going to be going to court. He was going to be processed for court tomorrow. So let's see how it comes out with that.
Okay.
And then also, Kwame Eugene is talking about underground artists and why they should learn their mistakes when they are underground. Because once you get to the limelight, you're more like perfectionist. Everybody is expecting that you come out as, somebody who's totally made it. So he's advising young guys who are trying to be musicians to actually try and learn their mistakes while they are underground.
Say is
being underground is not the same as being mainstream. It's so different from being mainstream. Being underground, I think you have the chance to make a lot of mistakes and correct them later. But now it is like people expect perfection from you. You get it? I mean, there's some level of validation people are expecting, and once you don't meet their level of validation they want you to get to, it becomes a problem they have with you.
Right.
And now people have numerous ways to express how they feel. You get it? So it's not easy. So I'm just telling every underground out there that this is the chance for you to make mistakes and correct them. Because when you become Kwame Eugene, you have little chance to make mistakes and correct them.
Everyone wants
Once it is out there, they judge you.
Yeah, life is about
you're not forgiven easily when you are up there. KMJ, thank you very much.
Anytime, my brother. Enjoy
and please stay safe. We don't want any more court cases.
I'd love to.
That's it. That's it for Showbiz. Many thanks for staying with us. Police in the Ashanti region are investigating circumstances surrounding the death of a 3-year-old boy whose body was found in a private vehicle at the premises of the St. Peter's Cathedral Basilica at Roman Hill in Kumasi. Eyewitnesses say Stephen Echampon, who is a pupil of the St. Peter's Daycare Center, was found in a Toyota Corolla vehicle, half naked. Now, news of this latest death comes after a string of bizarre murders and deaths in the region. A member of the search team told Love News the absence of clothes and footwear when he was found in the car raises eyebrows.
This is the St. Peter's Cathedral Basilica, and it sits on top of a hill. You know, they call this place Roman Hill in Kumasi. Now, they have a big space here at the church's premises. Now, for some time now, it has been opened to the public, and so members of the public, traders and other people can park here and pay a toll at the end of the month to the church. Now, this spot right here is where the Toyota Corolla with registration number GE 760020 was parked. Now, behind this building is the St. Peter's Daycare Center, where from nursery to KG, you can find the children in there. Now, when it is break time or when they close, they spread around, some of them playing around this area. Now, we do understand that the vehicle which was parked here contained, you know, the remains of the child in the afternoon when the mother came looking for him. Now, they had conducted a search by a team of people around this area over the street here to Fantin Newtown. They could not find the child. Now they found him in the vehicle after the owner of the vehicle came in and said she found the child inside her car. And that is where teachers, security men, and all the search people came in and identified the boy as indeed the one who was missing. Now we are told by a member of the search team that when they found him,
We found blood oozing from his nose, and also his mouth was foaming. So I raised his hands and realized he was dead.
I wrote down by topping the nation, and I wrote in Pabuansu.
A form no naked.
A form no naked. For a naked.
An entirely any Gukani man.
Entirely Nikani. Nikani. Skidful Naya, Nikani Nikani.
It's nice a form no. Or a naked.
Nanitino, a damper bound to say, why is seen or down.
Cano near Locono.
Cano, my men or chest on a car will be so on Locono.
The woman said the car was not locked, and this confuses me.
And this is what is raising eyebrows about what led to his death. Did he die out of suffocation in the car? Was he killed and dumped in the vehicle? These are nagging questions that the police seek answers to. We wait for the outcome of the investigations to reveal the mystery surrounding how this child died in somebody's car. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
And still in the Ashanti region, the 44-year-old man who is alleged to have murdered his pregnant wife has also passed on. Maxwell Bwedu killed his wife in the presence of their 6-year-old son at Nyanche Nyase, close to Sofo Line in Kumasi, and fled the area, forcing the police to intensify the search for him. He was later captured in Kodje in the Fijakwabre district of the Ashanti region. ASP Gordon Ahiano speaks for the Ashanti region police.
Suspect Maxwell Bwedu, who was arrested at Kodie for murdering the wife at Nyanche Nyase, took ill yesterday and was taken to the Fanoche Teaching Hospital. It was later found out that he had taken some suspected to be poisonous, and from our investigation we suspect he attempted suicide. Unfortunately, he gave up the ghost, so as we speak, he is also dead now, and the police have put the body at the Confederation Teaching Hospital morgue, awaiting autopsy. Subsequently, if anything comes up, we'll let the public know. Thank you.
Let's get more on this. Erastus Asaredonko has been following the story. He joins us via Zoom with more on this development. Erastus, do we know what happens to this 6-year-old boy? He's now an orphan.
Yes, he's now an orphan, but he doesn't know about the status of his parents yet, with the exception of the mother who was killed in front of him. The grandpa tells me he's doing well. He seems to be adjusting to life. He is confused as to what is really going on at the moment. And so he has a sibling, and he's staying with the uncle. And so they play a lot. And some doctors have been calling, trying to get some psychiatric help for him in the case of he shows any signs that, raises concerns. But for now, he's doing well, and he's not aware that the father has also died.
And this must have generated a lot of talk among those living in the area, Nyanche Nyase. What are they saying?
In fact, it comes as a shock to many who hear this story, because they say that they know this, alleged killer as somebody who is very calm and doesn't speak much. And the landlady, for example, talks about he sharing some Bible stories with her every time. And so this one has come as a shock to many who know him as somebody who sells phone accessories, goes on trek, comes back, is always seen with a wife. They look like a very lovely couple, and nobody anticipated that he would commit such an act. But he's dying out of poisoning. I remember the landlady raising some concerns that when they spotted him with blood in his hands, he was holding some substance that he was trying to open in a small transparent bag, and so they suspected that he was trying to take in some concoction. But as to whether he took it or not, we do not know until the police came in that he might have taken in some substances leading to his death.
And Erastus, there have been a series of gruesome murders, violent crimes in the Ashanti region. The police responded to this specific one, but what are they saying generally about the situation in the region and the kind of reports that we're getting from there?
Well, I have seen some checkpoints increase, especially along the Georgia stretch. For example, I've seen the patrol team also increase their activity along certain areas. But if you look at areas like Maxima, for example, just yesterday we are told that some people on motorbikes
We seem to have lost connection to Erastus Cesaredonko, who has given us an update on what the police is doing in the Ashanti region to deal with the series of crimes we're getting from there. In the last few weeks, we brought you several reports of gruesome murders, many of them domestic in nature. Erastus, you were just telling us about the patrol in the area. Maxima. Hello, Erastus.
Sorry. So to your question, yes, indeed, I've seen the police do some snap checks around certain routes, but then you find some of these things also occurring, in certain areas, which strikes some concern among residents in the city. And so it's yet to be seen what strategy that the police will come up with to quell these incidents. Mind you, some of these are uncontrolled murders, but some are also robbery incidents, like the one that happened at Adansi Uraban at Atunsu, which is similar to what happened on the Kokobin Road as well.
Erastus, thank you very much. That's my colleague Erastus Cesaredonko there with details on happenings in the Ashanti region. Now we take you to the Tatale Health Center in the northern region, where the maternity block at the polyclinic is congested. This is forcing nurses to operate in small cubicles serving as wards. The major challenges confronting the nurses is the daily consumables like gloves.
The Tatale Hospital is the only acclaimed best hospital in the district, considering the distance and bad nature of the road to Yendi, which has the biggest hospital in the area. It will be the first point of call for most residents. But residents over the years have complained of poor healthcare delivery. If not lack of consumables, it is either acute shortage of bed space or medical personnel. Today we take you to the Tatale Hospital labor ward, where nurses are forced to deliver babies without gloves or forced to ensure patients provide for their delivery. A midwife, Rose Arthur, said anytime she makes requisitions, she's either given one or none at all.
Is that not new? No. Surgical guy, is that not new? It's new. So if the thing is not there, they can what happen? The whole and if they come and say logistics are not there for you to refer them, you see that you are not helping the person. Someone coming into second stage and saying you are referring. Would the person even pass my door? The baby will come. So the things are not there. If it's not there, we will write for them to buy. This is the requisition. Have you seen what I've requested for today? So this one is new. This one is new. It's not there. If it's not there, we'll write for them to buy.
The ward has 2 beds. Therefore, if they have more than 2 patients at a time, they would have to deliver some on the bare floor. She said it's a huge challenge confronting midwives in the hospital.
When we have more than 2 cases, the beds are only 2. So we have those challenges. Some we have to keep them on the floor. But if they are lucky and they can, maternity is not full, we keep them there. The one we deliver, those who are in their second stage, we bring them. But in case the person too comes in second stage, so we have to use the floor. And the floor, so we have some rubbers and we use it to help them to deliver. If there are more than 3 and they are of the same stage, they come on the same stage, some have to be on the floor. But if those on the bed, when they deliver, then we'll make them to also plan.
The ugly events taking place at the ward has further endangered the lives of midwives and patients with the advent of COVID-19, where social distancing is required. Madame Rose said the congestion is a huge concern and appealed to authorities to equip the new facility to help them move in.
My appeal is that we had a new structure, but the equipments are not there for us to use it. So I'm appealing to the donors or whoever is responsible to facilitate things for us in order to solve the problem that we are encountering.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has admitted that he made a mistake in his comment regarding the construction of the harbour in Cape Coast. In a recent interview on Cape Coast-based Eagle FM, he denied that the New Patriotic Party made any commitment to undertake the said infrastructure project in the region. On Accra-based Peace FM Thursday, the president said, quote, "Let me just confess it. I made a mistake." Residents of Cape Coast have been reacting.
I don't understand the apology. What he's saying, I don't understand it. Is he apologizing that he lied on Eagle FM? Or is apologizing that he's no longer going to build a harbour for us? You see, and what we have at Elimina is not a harbour that he promised Cape Coast. What Nando has done, Nando has told people of Cape Coast that we should all start crying. He has told that at Cape Coast, our father has died, our mother has died. So what we have Cape Coast now is funeral. So from tomorrow, we Cape Coasters, we are going to put on black. We are going to mourn Nanado. We are going to put on black because he has deceived us. And we are demanding, we the youth of Cape Coast, we are demanding our harbour and the airport that he promised because it is in his manifesto.
The moment pyramid say crying Bahumia, next some no can Bahumia. You want a cassette war. Well, bo, there you go. Or be there, or the Megafo. Or your harbour, no on your airport, no done here, and a president Nakasa, the Nadu, and Nancy Obela, now Bakacha, the my neighbors plane airport dam, and one could be see harbour man. I'm a bit to teach men, and when you do chat, when you do.
Well, the Cape Coast North and South members of the National Democratic Congress are demanding government builds the harbour and the airport as promised the people of Cape Coast. According to the party, the president's denial of the promise and the subsequent apology indicates that the promise was just for the sake of vote. Addressing a news conference in Cape Coast on Thursday, Constituency Secretary for Cape Coast North, Simon Peter Jechi, and the Communications Officer of Cape Coast South, Ohima Ahima, asked the President to return to Cape Coast and apologize.
That the President did say here at Eagle FM that he did not promise Cape Coast an airport and a harbour. That apology, I seek to ask, is it to suggest that he is still going to provide Cape Coast with the airport and the harbour? Because a man says that he didn't promise. Today he says he's sorry. He is sorry, the NDC. It is interesting that it seems our president does not pay attention to details. Because when you look at the presidential results from both Cape Coast North and South, it went in favor of His Excellency President Akufo-Addo. It is the parliamentary votes that the NDC did win in both North and the South. And I want to let you understand that Cape Coasters voted for him in the presidential because he had promised them the harbour and the airport. So at the time the people were casting their votes for Kweku Ricketts and Kwame Mintaye to become MP for Cape Coast South and North respectively, they were thinking of Akufo-Addo's promise of harbour and airport, and that made them to vote for him in both elections. So let the MPP wake up. Central Region MPP led by Chairman Kutin, let them wake up. NDC over the years has championed the interest and the development of Cape Coast whenever the party comes to power. We are throwing the challenge to them. They should go to the president and tell them that Cape Coast deserves better and that this is not the time to change the rhetoric. I have heard some of you, even the media, asking today as to whether Cape Coast really needs an airport or a harbour. At the time, the MPP told us that they had done visibility studies. They had sent the then aviation minister, Kofi Ada, the late, came down, they visited certain places and told us that those were the places that had been earmarked for the airport and that funding had been secured. Are they now telling us that those projects are not needed and they are not feasible? When indeed at the time, the media, the MPP party apparatus, continued to let us understand that indeed Cape Coast needed it. But Umia, in the audio that you heard, was talking about the triangular flow of tourism and movements in Cape Coast, between Cape Coast, Takoradi, and Accra. What has become to that? Is it still not relevant today? So, my brothers and sisters, we are still asking the president the apology. Is it to suggest that he is bringing the airport to Cape Coast, he is bringing the harbour to Cape Coast because Cape Coasters are waiting for those projects? Or it is a lie that he came to tell us he didn't promise? We do not have short memories. He should be told. The next point I want to make has to do with the fact that, you see, it is the president's election manifesto of 2020. Akufo-Addo, per that pronouncement at Eagle FM, is suggesting to us that he did not even know what was in the 2020 manifesto that brought him to power. He was not a party to the preparation of that manifesto of 2020. That is how come he can come and tell us that he didn't make that promise. A promise which was copiously inserted in page 160 of that manifesto. A manifesto that bears his signature. So if a president appends his signature to a document and he comes to tell us that he is unaware of what is contained in that document, then I'm telling you, we have a sleeping president, not a reading president. A president who does not read, a president who does not pay attention to details in documents that he signs. And that is very unfortunate. And it explains how come we find ourselves in our current developmental quagmire. Akufo-Addo is not fit to be president by some of these pronouncements and actions.
Oman Penny Day, Iguafu, Yanamani or the Hawa or Chan. Yanya Peace FM, Nayabajana, natural power. Baby, Ojina, and I was a Biajina, Idria, a Nane, and see Brown. Nayaden, Bejina, or ye, Hanasa Sido. Na Pahanacho. Say a chopano so on divert Yanata Sanada. Iguafu ya crowd the Yajian airport, Nayajian Habon, Onani in order.
Chemicals used by textile and leather tanning companies are harmful when not properly disposed of. There have been concerns over the years about the pollution to water bodies. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, students of the Department of Physics at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have been exploring scientific means to rid water bodies of these hazardous waste. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Emmanuel Bright Kweku speaks with the students.
According to a 2017 report in the Journal of Earth Science and Environment, tanning and textile industries are primary pollutants of the environment. They have the strong tendency of causing water pollution due to the untreated waste they discharge.
The nano-composite material.
The physics students Frederick Eshen and John Kwesikwache explained the study was influenced by the excessive chemical effluents deposited into water bodies by textile and tanning industries in Ghana.
And we saw the excessive water pollution around us, especially the water pollution from the dye industries, most of them from these textiles and tanning industries. And much attention have not been given to such places.
The cleaning technology employs the use of a substance known as lanthanum-doped zinc oxide reduced graphene oxide in breaking these chemicals under sunlight.
We wanted to, as he said, to degrade the dye or remove the dyes from this polluted water. So we first tried to assess how much it could do, but we could see that its efficiency was very low. So with that knowledge we have acquired on campus in the science, so we thought it wise if we could reduce graphene oxide and lanthanum, the efficiency of the material integrating the dye would actually increase. So with that, we actually did it, and it was a success. But with that, we added various amounts of the dopants we added, and we had an optimum amount that actually gave us the best removal of the dye.
Frederick explained the newly developed cleaning technology proved more effective as compared to the conventional method of using only zinc oxide in degrading these chemical wastes.
Yeah, so with this we could actually see that there is a great future in our work. We could see that the dye pollution around us, we could actually curb that effect around us, and it could give us access to more clean and safe water.
Reporting for Joy News, Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Now, despite government efforts, malaria remains a major cause of illness and death in Ghana, particularly among children and pregnant women. They account for 41% of outpatient cases, according to reports by the WHO. To complement government's efforts at improving this situation, pharmaceutical company Bliss GVS has donated anti-malarial drugs worth about 150,000 Ghana cedis to the 37 military hospital in Accra to help in the treatment of malaria infections for patients who may not be able to afford.
The commander of the 37 military hospital, Brigadier General Aja Obudai, said the hospital is appreciative of the efforts of Bliss GVS Pharma for donating medicines to the facility and has assured the medicines will be given free of charge to the patients in need. The chief pharmacist at the police hospital, ACP Ellen Sam, said malaria constitutes more than 20% of OPD cases. The donated anti-malarial medicines, especially Lonart, will be useful in the fight against malaria. He thanked Bliss GVS Pharma for their initiative.
Now, we know very well that malaria is a leading, cause of hospital visitations all over the sub-region. So you can imagine what it means. This is goods, they're saying, worth 75,000 Ghana cedis. That's a whole pack, and we believe it to go a long way. Our dispensaries will be stocked, pharmacies will be stocked, so that clients who have malaria and who need any of those medications will be supplied free of charge up until that point. So it is really significant and very important.
Henry Safori from the Ministry of Health, Frederica from the Ghana Health Service, and Harry Autry from PSGH were present for this program. They appreciated the initiative of Bliss GVS Pharma in eradicating malaria in Ghana through their campaign Act for Africa Malaria-Free Continent. The institution manager of Bliss GVS Pharma Ghana, Joshua Afram, said the objective of the company is to work towards eradicating malaria in Ghana and Africa as a whole. He said, as part of their corporate social responsibility, the company will make similar donations to other health facilities in the country. He also mentioned that the company has already carried out similar programs on the occasion of World Malaria Day at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, where they donated anti-malarial and other essential medicines to these health facilities.
We started an initiative to fight malaria in Ghana and Africa as a whole. So we started with the donations at Kolebu
and to the Ridge Hospital, and from there we will move to the police hospital. We are going to move this initiative to all the major facilities. Our main purpose for bringing these medicines is to help all patients with malaria. So our hope is that the hospitals will give out the medicines to the patients, at least if not for free, they should subsidize the amount, because you understand that at the end of the day they run the hospital with money.
President Akufo-Addo says the government is partnering with the private sector to rid the country of filth and ensure waste generated is properly recycled. For him, government's scarce resources makes it impossible to properly deal with waste, hence the involvement of the private sector. Commissioning the second phase of the Zoom Lion compost plant at Ajin Kotoku as part of his tour of the Greater Accra region, the president reiterated his commitment to make Accra the cleaner city in Africa.
The disposal of solid waste management has remained a challenge, especially in the urban areas of this country, creating the numerous sanitation challenges confronting our nation. Elsewhere, integrated waste management has been adopted as one critical intervention in the management of municipal solid waste. However, the establishment of an efficient integrated waste management facility requires huge financial outlay, and with the competing needs of other sectors of the economy on the government budget, it has become increasingly difficult for government alone to shoulder this responsibility. It is for this reason that on assumption of office, my government made a commitment to address this menace, to transform Ghana to be one of the cleanest countries in Africa. In this regard, government has taken the requisite steps to create the enabling environment and framework for the private sector to partner government in finding solutions to this Herculean challenge. It is important also to note that as a result of the huge capital requirement to establish infrastructure for the management of solid waste, most private sector players have been reluctant to enter into this space. I'm glad and fortunate that Just One Group and partners have had the courage and spirit of enterprise to enter this space, to partner government to assist us in addressing the sanitation situation.
The Greater Accra region alone generates 3,000 tons of waste daily. The 20 million euro project has the capacity to recycle 1,000 tons of waste for agricultural purposes. Chairman of the Just One Group of Companies, Joseph Senwe Japan, said the company has 34 compost plants operating across the country. He is optimistic continuous government support will deal with the waste canker.
Indeed, this plant was one of the private sector-led initiatives in the environmental sector that you visited during your first term of office. During your visit, you encouraged us to expand, and this motivated us to pursue this second phase of the ACA project. Your Excellency, your contribution to the environmental sanitation in the country is historic. It is worthy to note that since independence, that is over 6 decades, it is during your term in office that the country has commissioned 34 plants within a year. Some of these plants have already been completed. That's 16 regional compost and recycle plants, 14 medical waste treatment plants, 4 wastewater treatment facilities in Tema, Takoradi, Tamale, and Kumasi. Mr. President, what is even more significant is that prior to all these interventions, the country had been battling with this infrastructure deficit. Where and how to receive waste has been the gap that has been worrying Ghana for so many years, such as landfill challenges, including seepage of leachate into groundwater, the nuisance from odor and flies. You are the only president who has filled this infrastructure gap within a year. Your Excellency, your actions have inspired us in the private sector to innovate and engineer strategic solutions to our collective developmental challenges. You are a true leader. Indeed, you have spared no effort at developing the private sector by supporting many companies, and the Just One Group is one of the beneficiaries. Other companies have also benefited, and we can all attest to this. This demonstrates that at the core of your leadership philosophy is the growth and development of entrepreneurship.
This is Johnny's Prime with me, Ernest Mino. Time to take a break. When we return, Charles Aite has more business stories for you. Don't go away.
In business, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, has called for the rebranding, resourcing and restructuring of the Ghana Regional Appropriate Technology Industrial Service, that is the GRATIS Foundation. The foundation was created to research, design, develop, manufacture and market appropriate tech-based products and services for micro, small and medium enterprises, so as to facilitate socio-economic and industrial development in Ghana and across the African continent. Inaugurating the new board for the GRATIS Foundation, the sector minister admonished members to adapt new technologies to make MSMEs more viable.
We need to do a number of things to ensure that GRATIS now is repositioned to fit into the new vision and the dynamics of the current times. And this repositioning requires 3 things. First is that we need to restructure GRATIS. Number 2, we need to rebrand GRATIS. And number 3, we need to resource GRATIS. So basically, you are operating on 3 R's. It doesn't matter which order the R's come. They are all important. They reinforce each other. But let me start with rebranding. the fact that you have an organization called Gratis Foundation in itself can be very deceptive to the constituencies that you serve, because it's very easy for people to think that you are there to offer free services. Gratis Foundation. But once you are a government institution, it is important that you also operate on sound commercial lines to ensure sustainability. And so, as a new board, one of the responsibilities that I want to bestow on you is to start thinking about how we rebrand our institution. We've gone through a similar exercise with the National Board for Small Scale Industries, which basically is the other side of the coin. It's gratis and then MBSSI. Now they've moved forward. They have a new brand, and the new brand is creating magical waves for them. And so I hope that your maiden meeting, you start thinking about this rebranding exercise. But rebranding yourself without substance is literally of no value. And that is why I talked about the second R, which is restructuring. And restructuring requires that we develop new institutional organizational structures that will help you deliver a more varied portfolio of services. And not just that, but also to ensure that you become more service-oriented. More service-oriented. Because if you want to move from a gratis organization to an organization that has to survive based on the quality and value of services they provide, then obviously it means that you have to organize yourself properly.
Director of Crop Research at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Seth Akoto, says the private sector business in the agri sector have been given a big boost to thrive. According to him, his outfit over the years has collaborated with private firms to expand the operations, thus helping to address the unemployment menace. He was speaking at the maiden sweet potato multi-stakeholder platform held under the auspices of the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, of which we have more in this report.
The Ghana Sweet Potatoes Value Chain Association, in its maiden edition stakeholder meeting, sought to review progress and examine prospects in sweet potato value chain in the country. The association called for a sustained development of locally produced orange-fledged sweet potatoes to strengthen rural economies and generate employment. Here is President of the association, Emmanuel Daycare.
We need to promote the sweet potato industry because of its nutrient values and for the commercial purposes of it, which will come in as nutrition and which will also come in as business. So it's for creating wealth and for health. And again, bringing the whole group together is really trying to highlight the commercial viability of this particular product.
During the exhibition, some orange-fledged sweet potato processing companies called for support from the government to expand their businesses. They also encouraged young graduates to consider agriculture.
And Sedu Ghana Limited, we process everything about sweet potato, especially the orange-fledged sweet potatoes. The orange-fledged sweet potatoes has a lot of vitamin, especially vitamin A and C, and that we process it into bread, other pastries like cookies, pie, rock bands, and what you can think of.
As a young graduate, I want to use this platform to advise the youth that we don't have to sit down and wait for the government. We don't have to sit down and wait for somebody to employ us, because we have land all around us in the country. And the success and the development of this country is mainly dependent on agriculture. So we, the youth, must just all rise up, find something to do.
Looking at the Ghanaian system now, I think people are beginning to like the orange flesh sweet potato. So what I would say is government should take a look at that sector and provide funding so that the youth can also engage in them, and then we can develop from that area.
James Ishen's report for Joy Business.
Deputy Finance Minister Apena Osei is calling on corporate Ghana to support the National Lottery Authority's Caritas Lottery platform to enable government raise revenue to aid social responsible projects. Relaunching the Caritas Lottery platform, Mrs. Osei said the government is committed to supporting developmental projects in the country. We have more in this report.
The Caritas Lottery platform launched in 2012 is a platform on which lottery schemes are run using a random number generator to electronically draw winners. It affords opportunity to commercial, financial institutions, corporate bodies, organizations, and well-meaning Ghanaians to run their business promotions through lottery schemes in collaboration with the National Lottery Authority. At the relaunch of the event, Deputy Finance Minister Apena Osei called on corporate Ghana to support the initiative.
We all have a special duty to give back to society. What will make the NLA's Good Causes Foundation unique will be its ability to make a difference by dedicating generated revenue from its Caritas Lottery platform to support charity in our communities. When we work together, we can achieve incredible things. I therefore entreat corporate Ghana to support this noble cause by collaborating with the NLA on its Caritas Lottery platform to run their business promotions because of its immense contribution to the state.
Director General of the National Lottery Authority, Samuel Ewuku, revealed that proceeds from the new platform will be invested into corporate social responsibilities.
All proceeds from the Caritas Lottery platform will go directly into the Good Causes Foundation with the aim of impacting society. This is not a profit-making venture, and we must all join forces to make our society better. The NLA shares in the deep statement made by the former United States President, JFK, and I quote, "If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich."
James Ishen's report for Joy Business.
And that'll be it for business. We have sports coming next. Do stay.
Welcome back to Sports on Joy News Prime. I'm Hans Mensah, and Accra Hearts of Oak have left Ghana for Morocco for the second leg of the CAF Champions League playoff tie against Wydad Casablanca. After a slim win in the first leg playoff, board member Frank Nelson says the Phobians must score at least one goal if they are to reach the money zone.
I think they are a good side. We cannot take them for granted. But our boys played very well. Now the reason is that we're going away, George. The away game, they have a lot of experience. You can see they are relaxed. But at the end of the day, I don't think they can determine the game because we're going to play our game. Like I said, we need to just find a goal in Morocco just to get one goal. If we get one goal, they will be in a panic situation because they know that that would be disaster for them. So they want to prove the world that they were good. What they did in 2017 and 2018 is not by accident. So they want to prove it to a team that is coming from West Africa once more. So we will not take them for granted. We'll take it very serious. We'll look at it and say, look, these guys have what it takes, but they will not take us for granted. No matter how naive or how premature the boys will look at, but I think they are one-on-one 11 players who can do anything. We have players who has played on the highest level, like people like Banya and every other thing. Nate can equally do a lot of difference. Our goalkeeper is very good, and I believe we can stand the Moroccans. It's nothing to panic. Across the vogue, for me, definitely we will find our way through, and I think we can qualify.
Good. We saw 2,000 fans in the stadium. It made a lot of difference, and this is not the end of your CAF campaign. Even if you lose in Morocco, there's Confederations Cup to play, and there are more games coming down here. Would you push for more than 2,000?
Well, definitely, I think that would be fair. on the side of Accra. So we should be able to expand the 2,000. If we get a little bit, maybe 50% more of what we're having today, I think that will give us, because support makes a lot of difference. We see it in every part of the world. If you look at EPL now, you look at the support base that is coming to stadium, you see what difference it's making in games. So I think we should be able to ask for more opening in terms of percentage. If they give us 5,000 supporters, I think that's not. Our stadium is for 40,000. So if we play with 5,000, I don't think that will bring any obstacle in our game. So for that, we will definitely push for that. Like you're saying, if we do not qualify through the Moroccans, I don't think we will not qualify. I think we will qualify. I'm very positive about that. Yeah. So we think we'll qualify. I'm not thinking about going to Confederation because we have done it before, but I think that where we belong to is where we're playing now.
Let's get into boxing now. Dillian Whyte has been forced to cancel his heavyweight bout with Otto Wallin due to a shoulder injury. The 32-year-old was due to face the Swedish fighter at the O2 Arena on the 30th of October. But Matchroom confirmed it was off late on Wednesday night. There is more in the following report.
British heavyweight Dillian Whyte has withdrawn from his October 30 fight with Otto Wallin with a shoulder injury. Whyte was scheduled to defend his WBC interim heavyweight title against the Swedish challenger Wallin. The winner of the bout had slated to fight WBC champion Tyson Fury, who knocked out Deontay Wilder in the final fight of their trilogy earlier this month. The show will go ahead with a super lightweight unification matchup between Chantel Cameron and Mary McGee, now topping the bill. Otto Wallin's promoter had called for a rescheduling since Whyte's withdrawal leaves no obvious next opponent for Fury, who stands top in the division as WBC champion. The WBC had ruled that the winner of Fury and Wilder's trilogy fight would have 30 days to agree a fight against IBF, WBA and WBO champion Alexander Usyk, who would be ordered to face the winner of Whyte vs Wallin. Whyte remains the interim champion despite withdrawing from the Wallin fight.
And then sports on Joy News Prime. You can read more at myjoyonline.com/sports. I'm Hans Mensando.
And that's our show for tonight. Many thanks for your company. Please log on to myjoyonline.com. We have more stories there.